My name's Derek.
My name's Don.
Website, retrorpg.net. Forums, go to the forums. Nobody goes to the forums.
The most failed podcast out there.
Email is podcast@retrorpg.net. Nobody emails us. iTunes, you can find us on iTunes. Nobody leaves us reviews.
Welcome to the Retro RPG Podcast.
Hey guys, about 5 years ago or so, a little podcast called the Retro RPG Podcast came out, and I gotta let you guys know that this is one of my favorite podcasts. It's pretty much the only one I listen to, and I think it deserves a lot more recognition. It's made for people like us, people who like old school RPGs, new school RPGs, just want to talk about RPGs. Now, I'm going to give you 6 reasons why you should definitely check out the Retro RPG Podcast. Reason number 1. This podcast came out approximately 60 years after the Allies won World War II. Is that a coincidence? Probably. Reason number 2. These guys have a lot of contests. Yes, sometimes there are contests on the website where you'll have to send in an audio submission to be part of a podcast or recognize some audio clip from a video game in order to win prizes. Really, the coolest thing about these contests are if you enter, you have a pretty good shot at winning. For example, they did a contest where you had to submit an audio clip in order to be on the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children podcast. And since I was the only one to enter, I won. Definitely because of my skill, not because I was the only one to enter. But anyway, that's a really cool reason to listen. Reason number 3. It's a really small community and offers a lot of interaction. Basically, these guys read every email they get and they comment on them in the podcast. So it's really interesting to see that you can talk to them very easily, you can talk to other people on the forum very easily. They're very easy to access, unlike some really big podcasts where they won't even address the comments and you kind of feel like you're a small part of the community. In here, it's a small community, but you feel like you're a big part of it, and I just think that's really awesome. Reason number 4, consistency. These guys are pretty awesome when it comes to consistency. Although, yeah, for sure, it takes them some time in between podcasts. Honestly, these guys have been going strong for like over 5 years now. Every month or at least 2 months or so, they'll release a podcast and they keep going. Most podcasts burn out after like a year or two because people try to do one podcast every week or every 2 weeks or something. But these guys have been pouring out consistent material for years now, and I think that's worth some recognition. Reason number 5. These guys are actually funny, and they have personality. The reason why I don't get into a lot of video game podcasts is because they're pretty boring. Like, the people who do it are usually just kind of phoning it in, like explaining whatever, here's the facts of the game, this is my experience with it. But what I really like about Derek and Don is that they put in really good effort and they put in an element of personality to it. You see, these guys have very distinct personalities and really good chemistry and just honesty. They're 2 best friends who just like talking about video games and other stuff in life, and both come across as equally awesome and fun to listen to. Yes, they do go off topic a lot, but unlike other podcasts, their rants are genuinely funny, interesting, and they hit truth way more often than they don't. And the final reason that I think you guys should listen to this podcast is because they actually play the game before they talk about it. You would be amazed how many podcasts I've listened to where it's some guy saying, Final Fantasy VII, I remember playing that game 10 years ago, let me offer you my perspective on it now. It's like, no, obviously not. Like, I want it fresh on your mind. When I play a game, I want to hear somebody's opinion on it who's actually remembers playing it. Otherwise, what's the point? What's great about the Retro RPG podcast is that they basically record right after they play the game. So you get their initial impressions, they take notes so you get detailed impressions, and if they miss something, all you have to do is comment and they'll answer you. See how it works? Anyway, all I have to say is that you guys should definitely check out the Retro RPG podcast. I've linked the website in the description below. Those 2 are awesome. Derek and Don, they're my heroes. The last thing is, if you're a big fan of Final Fantasy X, do yourself a favor and do not watch those episodes or listen to those episodes. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.